Welcome back, everyone. Today's Tier Masters video is over all 50 United States flags. We're going to go through this in alphabetical order. So the first one we've got is Alabama. This is a pretty basic flag, and I think you can even see on the right it's a more stripped down and bare bones version of another flag. So this goes in D tier. I like the constellation idea on Alaska. It's pretty straightforward. There's nothing much else to offer. So this is going in B tier. Arizona had good ideas with their flag, but the color scheming is just poor execution. Because of that, this is going in C tier. I really think overall the Arkansas flag is pretty dull and not creative at all. So this is going to be our first addition to F tier. The California flag is one of the most iconic flags out there, and usually to foreigners, this is one of the few, if any, flags of any U.S. state that they recognize, so this is an S tier. The Colorado flag is another popular one. Tons of people love to wear this on shirts and hats, but it's a pretty basic design, so weighing those two factors, this is going to stay in A tier. I'm not really sure what's quite going on with the Connecticut flag, and while they try to have a fancy emblem on it, it doesn't quite work out. So I'm going to put this one in C tier. I don't know what exactly is going on with the Delaware flag, and while the date might hold some significance, it's kind of weird to have it on a flag, so this is going in F tier. Florida's flag is just a souped up version of the Alabama flag, so this is going to go in C tier right above the Alabama flag. I think Georgia's got some interesting concepts, although it's not too cool of a flag, but it should be a solid B tier. The Hawaiian flag is basically if you took 10 different countries and chopped all of their flags into one, so this is D tier. Idaho's flag would be much cooler if the actual emblem had a bigger significance on the flag, so this is D tier. Props to Illinois for the creativity on this. I'm going to stick this in S tier just purely on the illustration and the artistry. In a way, the Indiana flag kind of reminds me of the Alaskan flag, where they have a cool design, but there's not too much going on, so I'm going to stick this in B. Iowa's flag kind of reminds me of Illinois' flag, but less cool, so this is going in A. The Kansas flag has a few different things that you would like to put on a flag, but it's spatially just miserably arranged, so this is D tier. Next up, I kind of like this interesting idea with the people in the middle that Kentucky has, but it's really nothing special overall. This belongs with the rest of the ones in C. I like this pelican in Louisiana, and it kind of captures some theming with the state. So this is an A tier flag. Based on this emblem and what we already have up there, the main flag looks like it belongs in either C or D tier, but I'll probably put it in D tier just because of how small the emblem is on the actual flag. If we were going based off of just pure creativity and abstractness, this would be an S tier flag, but unfortunately we're not. So the Maryland flag belongs in the dumpster in F tier. While the imagery on the Massachusetts flag may have some sentimental value to the history, it overall is pretty bland and the emblem is small. Because of that, it goes in D tier with the others. Michigan, finally a flag where they actually got the sizing right on the central part in the emblem. It's pretty creative overall, and I'm going to stick this in A tier. Don't exactly like the colors on this Minnesota flag, and it's kind of confusing to follow. This is an F tier flag. Mississippi's flag is a good example of something that you can keep simpler and it still looks decent. This goes in B tier. Missouri's flag kind of looks like they took another country's flag and then tried to put something cool in the middle, but it's just not very well executed. It's a C tier. For as much heat as I've been giving some of the other flags, Montana's flag surprisingly holds up pretty well, and I kind of think the illustrations on it are pretty cool. This is going to end up in B tier. Nebraska's flag kind of looks like a Rotary Club logo, and it's hard to tell exactly what's going on there. This is going in D tier. I don't know exactly what's going on in this Nevada flag, and if I knew more of the history, maybe it would make more sense. Bonus points for putting the logo in the corner with a little star, and I may disagree with this later, but I'm going to put this in C tier. I love this New Hampshire flag. This is the perfect way of making something look fancy but simple at the same time. Because of its execution, I'm going to put this in S tier. I don't really like the coloring on New Jersey's flag, and I'm not sure what's going on. Engaging what we have in front of us, I'm putting this in F tier. While New Mexico's flag is certainly one of the laziest examples, I kind of like its somewhat creativity, but there's nothing too much special about it, so I'm putting this in C tier. I don't know exactly what's going on in New York's flag, but at least everything is scaled up. The artistry is better than some of the other logos, so I'm going to stick this in B tier. North Carolina's flag is simple. There's not much going on, so I'm going to put this in C tier as well. I love the artistry on this North Dakota flag. I think it's hilarious and probably one of the more patriotic state flags out there, so I'm going to stick this in S tier. So I'm not sure exactly what to think of this Ohio flag. The design on it kind of makes it look like a three-dimensional flag that's waving in the wind, and I'm not sure if I really like it or dislike it, but it's different, so I'll put this in B. I think Oklahoma's flag does a great job of state theming, and it's pretty neat overall and not too chaotic, so I'm going to put this in A tier. This Oregon flag looks pretty decent. I like the block lettering and numbering, and you've got a complicated logo in the middle, but it has this complicated logo that I'm not really sure does much, but at least the emphasis is on the lettering and numbering, so I'm putting this in B tier. While I know I gave some of the other logos some crap for being crazy, I find this Pennsylvania logo to be pretty crazy and cool. It's a very unique logo, and I like the size and contrast on the flag, so I'm putting this in A tier. I think Rhode Island's flag does a great job of theming to its state, but also keeping things very simple, so I'll put it in B tier. I don't know what it is about it, but I'm kind of drawn to this South Carolina flag. I know there's not just a ton going on, but I think it's really cool, and this deserves a spot in the A tier. This South Dakota flag is somewhat difficult to look at. I know they were going for the letters wrapping around the emblem in the middle, but it's just kind of difficult to pick out, so I'm putting this in D tier. I don't know what's going on with Tennessee's flag, but I really don't like this. It's very bland and boring, F tier. So Texas' flag very much resembles the North Carolina flag, but if we're going for icon points, I'd have to put it in the tier above, so it's going in the B tier. I'm not really sure what's going on with Utah, and I don't like this at all, but at least it's not egregious as some of the other ones, even though it doesn't offer much. D tier. While I do like the logo on this Vermont flag, it's just too small on the flag itself. I'd imagine you'd have to be pretty close up to see everything, so it's going in C tier. This Virginia flag is something interesting. I'm not sure what's going on here, although I don't like the colors too much, so I'm putting this in D tier. I absolutely love this Washington flag. They found a way to tie in George Washington into the flag in a way that works, so I'm putting this in S tier. This West Virginia flag is interesting, but I'm not sure what's going on, and it somewhat reminds me of a wreath with mistletoe on it, so I'm putting this in C tier. The Wisconsin flag kind of reminds me of the Oregon flag, but it's a little bit worse, so I'm also going to put this in C tier. I do like the buffalo idea on the Wyoming flag, and although I don't like the center part, I feel like the buffalo itself is enough to wiggle its way into the A tier. I kind of find the Utah flag interesting and creative. It has good color theming, and I love the mountain outlines, so I'm going to put this in S tier. This is another Oregon flag, so I'm just going to stick this next to the current one we have. All right, thanks for tuning in. Let me know what your state flag or favorite flags on this list are, and I'll see you in the next one.